Hey Fae folk, welcome and welcome back. So for today's video, we're going to be doing another Disney doll ranking, and today we're taking a look at all of the limited edition Jasmine dolls. So Jasmine is an interesting princess for me just because I feel like when I think of like my favorite Disney princesses, or when someone says, hey, what's your favorite Disney princess? She doesn't immediately spring to mind, but when I take a second to like really think about the question, she is such a solid character to me. I love how she's not afraid to speak her mind. I feel like she's a very empowering character. So decent amount of love for Jasmine here. We will obviously see if that translates into a love for her dolls, because sometimes that has been true and sometimes that has not been true in this series. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. As per usual, these are just going to be my opinions. If you disagree with them, that's totally chill. They're dolls. Everyone has different aesthetics. Just please do be kind about it if you want to express that in the comments. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the ranking. Alrighty, so as per usual, we're going to be doing the ranking in Procreate, and I have the same just boring basic ranking that I've been using for all of the other Disney princesses. So we've got perfect, good, okay, I feel nothing, no thanks, and then put it back. Starting off, we have the designer princess Jasmine. And if you've seen my other videos kind of in this series, you'll know that I have not liked this line. I think that they've been some of the worst ranked dolls of the whole series. They just, in general, they don't read very collector to me, and that is still definitely true of this Jasmine, but I will say I think she's a lot less horrible than many of the other ones. I don't love, as with all of the others, really, the rhinestoning that they've chosen to do. Wrong brush, my bad. That's not going to be very helpful. There we go. The like rhinestoning that they've chosen to do on the bodice of the dress and also on her earring and like on the lamp. I don't know. I just feel like it's not amplifying anything. They just feel very random, and it's kind of like, why are they even there? Her outfit is quite simplistic compared to a lot of like the other limited edition designs that we're going to be seeing. Also, sorry if you heard that buzz. My phone's over there and it vibrated and it was weirdly loud. Anyway, though, yeah, she's not a stunner, but like compared to the other dolls in this line, she's really not terrible. Especially like her face looks decent. Her hair is like very long. It seems nice. So like that's all solid, because some of the other dolls have had some really crazy hair and faces in this line. Okay, I know I said all that. I was like, oh, this is like so good. But that's literally just in comparison to some of my least favorite dolls. I still think this is not a doll that reads collector to me, outside of like the visible thickness of the fabric, where it's like, oh, that's clearly not made of almost paper. I feel like this doesn't read collector quality. It doesn't read exciting, and no part of me would want this doll. So I'm gonna put her in no thanks, even though I was trying to be nice. I think if I was ranking just that line, just like the designer line, then she would be ranked very highly. But like, you're gonna see there's way better Jasmine designs coming up, so I can't be that nice to her. So the next one is the fairy tale Jasmine, who came in a pack with Aladdin, and already this is so much better. There's just like actual detail, and I feel like it's so much nicer. All of the embroidery on here, especially on her top, goes so hard. I really like the kind of like headpiece, hairpiece that she has here. I think the earrings look better without the rhinestones on them. Like, this is a vibe. She's got really long eyelashes, which is like a little much for me. Maybe I'd have to see them in real life, because sometimes they can look okay and sometimes they're just like, whoa, a little too much for a doll scale for me personally. But overall, I think this is pretty solid. My one critique, if I was going to say something, is that I do think this middle panel suffers a little bit, just because the rest of her outfit is so full of design that it's like, oh, whoa, that's like a little bit blank, a little bit empty. I think maybe if there had just been a little bit of embroidery along the bottom here, that would have been better. I'm going to switch to a different color so it's a little easier for y'all to see. Like just a little hint of something that would have completed her for me. That being said, that is absolutely a nitpick. I think the overall appearance of this is really solid. Slightly different color than Jasmine's like movie accurate outfit, like the actual color in the movies. But I do feel like this reads decently as sort of inspired by her signature outfit and just kind of elevated. I do like the detailing, so she gets to go into good. Next up, we have the D23 red Jasmine doll, and this is so hard for me, because, I mean, here's the thing, right, is that we could get into a whole conversation with Jasmine about the over-sexualization of her character, especially as it ties into a little bit of the Orientalism that's present in her character. Because, like, she does come from a fictional city that doesn't have, like, a concrete place. And instead, a lot of the, like, imagery and, like, the silhouettes and everything are kind of an amalgamation of actual cultures, from, like, Arabic cultures to Southeast Asian cultures. But then also, like, a kind of, again, sexualized fantasy component. Sorry, we're getting real serious for a second here. But, like, that is just something that is present in Jasmine's design. And I do think that the red outfit in the movie is, like, the most egregious example of that. I mean, she is actively in that scene and in that depiction while she's wearing that outfit. That is what is supposed to be happening, if she's being extremely sexualized by Jafar. And to be fair, he's a villain. Like, that is supposed to be, I think, hopefully framed in a negative way. But, like, that is what it is. And as a kid, I didn't really see that. As a kid, I loved her red outfit because I just thought it was pretty. I was like, oh, I like the red color on her. Like, that looks nice. I like her hair when it's up like that. But now as an adult, I feel like it's very hard to see this red outfit and not be thinking about that, you know, and be like, ooh, that's a little uncomfortable. At least for me, it's like a little uncomfortable. If I try to look at this purely from an aesthetic standpoint, I still do stand by those things. I think the red is a great color on Jasmine. I think this style of hair for her, like the up ponytail, is really cute. Although it looks like a little awkwardly, like, bumpy in this one, in this stock photo. I don't know. I think I like the outfit. I just don't necessarily love, like, the connotations that it makes me think of. I hope that makes sense. Like, again, I know that you could make that argument for any of Jasmine's designs, really, but, like, this one just feels like the most egregious. So I think I'm going to put her in okay, just because I do think that aesthetically this is a really pretty doll. It's just that for me personally, I'm like, I would not want, if I was going to own a Jasmine doll, I wouldn't want her to be in the red outfit, like, as an adult. But that's no shade, by the way, to you if you like that outfit or if you have this doll or like this doll. Like, everyone has different opinions. And again, like, you can say that any of Jasmine's outfits could be considered problematic. So, like, I get it. I'm not judging you. It's just, on me, I can't really feel that way. I hope that makes sense. We're going to move on. Next up, we have the 2015 Jasmine doll. I want to like this, but I think I like it a little less, mostly because of the face. Something about the face just feels off proportionally to me. Like, they don't necessarily have bad shapes. I feel like her eye shape and, like, her nose shape are quite accurate to the movie, but just, like, the proportions feel a little bit iffy. It feels like the head overall might be a tad too big, but it's, like, much larger up top than it feels like it should be compared to, like, the bottom of her face. I don't know, maybe I'm nitpicking, but something about the face just feels, like, a little odd. That being said, the jewelry I think is so, so beautiful on this doll. The headband, the earrings, the necklace, the bracelets, like the bangles. Oh my gosh, that is so, so, so pretty. Even the belt being bejeweled, and she's got, like, a little belly button ring. That is so stinking cute. Oh my goodness. I wish I could just, like, not be looking at the face, because it really, I think the face is the only thing, like, that is throwing me off so badly about this. I like the silhouette with, like, the skirt over the pants. I like the fact that we have a little bit of that embroidery and, like, rhinestoning detail on the edge, like, kind of as a trim for the skirt portion. I feel like, gosh, if we had the fairy tale face on this doll, she would be imperfect. She still gets to go into good, though, because, like, while I do think the face is a little off, that outfit is super solid to me. Next up, we have Jasmine's wedding outfit, which I find so fascinating because, first of all, it's gorgeous. Okay, let me just get that out of the way. This is beautiful. But she has, like, a canonical wedding dress that looks nothing like this. Like, not even close. So I do think it's just kind of funny that it's, like, so different. That being said, just looking at this, again, this is absolutely gorgeous here. I love, like, the white and gold, and, like, how much gold there is so pretty. The top and the skirt, like, there's just embellishment absolutely everywhere, and I love that for her. I love just how extra and how beautiful she looks. It's just, like, I mean, I've said this before on the channel. I feel like I'm kind of a maximalist. Like, I really like heavily embellished designs. I can appreciate a good, like, minimalist design or kind of, like, something that's more in between, but I do really love maximalist designs. So something like this where the whole skirt has got patterns and rhinestones and trim and, like, all of this is so, so good to me. She's got the beautiful bangles again. This is an excellent doll in my opinion. Like, just looking at it from an aesthetic point of view, again, kind of, like, ignoring the inaccuracy to the cartoon wedding dress. I think she's gorgeous, so she's going to go into perfect. Next up, we have the premiere Jasmine, and oh my god, this is so fun, so good. Obviously, much less movie accurate than some of the others that we've seen. I honestly don't think that almost any of the Jasmine dolls are super movie accurate. This one is pretty far from that, though. But even with that being said, she looks amazing. I love that she has this super long shawl. Of course, now I've chosen red, so you can't really see it. But I love like how long it is and like how it drapes, and that red color is just such a nice pop, especially against like the teals and blues of her main outfit. Again, like I think Jasmine does look really good in red, and so I love seeing her have that kind of accent color in there. And the fact that there's also red embroidery on the main body of the outfit to kind of tie it together is just so good for me. I love that so much. The different like materials and colors used, I think, are just so lovely. Obviously, the embroidery is incredible. I especially love the metallic top with this almost like tiger sort of pattern to it. I think that's a really cute nod to Raja. I just love that. Her face looks excellent. Like she looks so sassy and bold. Like you aren't going to mess with her. I love it. This is a really solid one. Also, another Raja reference on her bag. So good. She's absolutely going in perfect. That brings us to the live action dolls. So we have the regular, and then we'll take a look at the wedding. I don't know if this is a hot take. I actually really liked the live action Aladdin. Like I don't love the trend of just remaking movies into live action because I don't think that it's like the most creative choice in general. But within the constraints of like kind of being over live actions, I do think that Aladdin was like one of Disney's better live actions out of the ones that I've seen. I just felt like it was really solid. I did like, I'm losing her name. I'm so bad at like remembering actors and actresses' names, but I liked the actress who played Jasmine. I thought she did a good job. I liked that she got her own song. That was really cool. And for the doll, I think this is a pretty solid rendition of like a movie character. I don't think that the face looks nearly as uncanny as we've seen in a lot of other Disney live action dolls. I think she looks much more like proportionally suited to the doll. Like the head seems like almost the right size, or like is the right size for the doll's body. I feel like the sculpt is really solid on there. And then looking at the outfit in general, I think it's really good. Like I really genuinely do like this. The peacock feathers all over I think is a really pretty motif, and I love how it was done with this. I don't know what you would even call this. Like I don't know what the name of it is, because it's kind of like a cape, but it's attached to like the fingers. Y'all will have to let me know in the comments if you do know, but I think that looks so pretty on the doll. I feel like there's a lot of good like detail in here with different ribbons and trims and layers and like rhinestones and everything. This is just so good, even down to the shoes. Like I feel like a lot of the time on Disney dolls, the shoes are like okay, or kind of like whatever. Like I don't know, to be fair, a lot of the time they are hidden behind like a big poofy dress. But I feel like shoes aren't their main focus, which is fair. But even these shoes have painted detail and they look really nice. I don't know if this is controversial, but I'm putting this into perfect because like I high-key think that's a good doll. The live action wedding dress I do like less, and that's mostly just because I just don't think that this is as fun a dress, or like a dress that appeals to my personal tastes as much. I could do without the pink peeking through for sure. I do like that her like veil has more patterns and stuff on it. I think that's pretty. I don't know about the rhinestoning on this one. I feel like it was a lot better on like the live action signature look versus this wedding look. It's definitely still not a bad doll, but I like this one a lot less just on a personal level, so she's going to go down into okay. Then we have the Ultimate Princess Celebration Jasmine, and I'm sure y'all are going to be sick of me saying this, but I do have a whole video where I talked about this entire collection because it had like finished coming out. So I'll link that if you want to see my thoughts on this collection as a whole. Jasmine, I think, was the first one that got revealed, if I'm remembering correctly. She was at least like one of the first couple, but I think she might have been the first. And I feel like I have just gone back and forth on how I feel about her, and I just can't decide. I don't know why. I think there's a lot of really good elements. I think this is a pretty solid face for Jasmine. It's not necessarily my favorite, but I feel like she looks pretty good here. The hair, I think, is nice. I love this metallic peacock feather. I definitely need a new color. Okay. I love that though. I think that's really, really pretty. The like silhouette that it gives across her chest, I think is super nice. She's got big poofy sleeves, which y'all know I'm a huge sucker for. I love dramatic sleeves so, so much. I don't even mind like the silhouette of the skirt, which I think is quite unique. There's a lot of embroidered detail. There's tassels on the end. Like that's all solid. I think what it honestly is I wish that there were a couple of different shades of red here because, again, I do think the red looks solid on Jasmine. But with it all being almost the same color of red, like there's a couple, like I would say two distinct shades, but they're very, very close, right? Like we have, it's hard because one of them's shiny. So I'm trying to like find a good place to color pick. But we've got this red, which is kind of a more orangey red, like very slightly more orangey. And then we have this red, which I don't know on screen or on camera if you're going to be able to see the difference there at all. I can see a difference, okay? I can tell you it's different. So technically we have two different reds, but like they're very, very, very close. I would have liked to have seen a bigger contrast, like a much deeper red with a much lighter red, because I just think that it would make the different elements of the outfit pop a little bit more, because right now I feel like it does tend to blend together a little bit, and so it's harder to enjoy it because I feel like it's harder to see the details. That being said, it's definitely not ugly. Like, I don't think this is an ugly doll. I just think that the execution could have used a little bit of work. I think I'm going to put her in okay. I feel a little mean saying that, but that's what feels right. Then these next two I actually want to look at together because they're like very, very similar. So this is the same thing that Disney does sometimes where they'll release a version of the doll at D23 and then they do like a slightly simplified version of the doll that is just like available in the Disney store or like on their website. So we have the D23 doll on the left and then the like regular 30th anniversary doll on the right here. I just feel like I didn't do this for the previous video, so sorry, I'll do it going forward. But I feel like this is nice so you can really actually see the differences between the two. And I think there's a lot to love about both of them. Obviously, they are very, very similar in many aspects. I mean, the sleeves are super similar. They have the same decoration on their waist. Their jewelry is quite similar, although the D23 doll does have an extra headpiece, which I do like. I think that like extra bit of sparkle is just nice for her to get to have. That being said, though, there is sequins on the top of the D23 doll. Like her top has like a lining of sequins, and I don't think that looks as good as what's done on the Disney Store doll. Like it is obviously much simpler, but I just think that it looks better because while I like the sparkle, I don't know, the sequins feel kind of cheapy to me a lot of the time on dolls. Let's see. I do like the pants better on the D23 doll. The fact that they have the cuff that's gold and a little bit of design at the bottom, I think that's really super nice. We don't get that on the Disney Store doll, which like I understand again, like it is a simplified version, but I do think it's kind of like missing out on that aspect. But I like the Disney Store doll better when it comes to the silhouette of the skirt because we have like this asymmetrical cut where it's kind of following the line of like what appears to be peacock feathers there. And I think that looks really nice. We have that technically on the D23 doll with tassels added, which is cool, but there's also a second layer to the skirt, so you lose some of that asymmetry because you aren't really seeing that hemline because it's blending into the other layer, and I feel like it's less good for that. I like the D23's jewelry more. Honestly, ultimately, I think I'm putting both of these in perfect, which like, I don't know if that's a wild take, but I just think that they're both really solid. I don't know why I put these on two different layers. I feel like I'm making my life harder. But yeah, I think these are both really, really good dolls. Slight differences, some things I prefer about different ones. But like, ultimately the design in general is just good. And then lastly, we have the Midnight Masquerade Jasmine, which is incredible. I'm not talking about Aladdin because I am going to do a separate video for all the princes. But I will just say Aladdin was amazing. I saw both Chad from Chad Marvelous and then Enzo from the Junk Drawer talk about these dolls. Well, Enzo talked about Aladdin specifically, but talked about like this set in general on their channels. And it was so cool to get to see the details and everything. And looking at this Jasmine, I just think she is, I can't even think of a good enough word. Brilliant. This is an amazing, amazing doll. I love that we have the red, the darker blue on her looks so, so pretty. Like the color scheme is just fabulous. This beautiful gradient that we get on her skirt of the red to that deep blue is so, so enchanting. I love the different like chains that she's got going on over her skirt. I think they're beautiful. The top, like the way that it kind of wraps, the way that it has this upward pointed hemline at the top, like it's just so, it's so good. The jewelry is incredible. I'm blown away by this doll. Like she is truly so beyond gorgeous to me. Huge props to whoever designed her, because this is amazing. Obviously not like necessarily movie accurate, which the Midnight Masquerade line is almost never very movie accurate, but I love her for it. I think this is an amazing design. I'm glad that the designer got to like do something a little bit different and do like this different color scheme for Jasmine, because she looks so good in it. So obviously it's going in perfect. Like I just spent all that time gushing. Of course it's going in perfect. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the ranking of all the Jasmine dolls. And I think this might be the most positive one yet. Am I wrong? Because I mean, I know Cinderella and Snow White were really up there, but Jasmine only has one doll in the bottom 3 tiers. That's kind of crazy. So definitely, if not the most positive ranking, very, very highly contending for it. I just think her designs are really solid. I feel like it's obviously, in my opinion, very rare for them to fumble Jasmine's dolls. She tends to look real pretty to me. I feel like they do a lot of things that are a little bit different, a little bit more like experimental with Jasmine. Like I said, I feel like her dolls tend to be maybe some of the least movie accurate, but for her it really works. I don't know, like that's not always my thing, but I feel like her designs look so solid that I can't even be bothered by it. So yeah, a nice positive ranking today. So yes, guys, that is going to be it for Jasmine. Definitely let me know what your thoughts are on all of the dolls we talked about today. Very curious to see if you agree with me that she's got some of the better dolls, or if you think I'm crazy and you hate all of them. I'm always curious to know what y'all think. Next up, I plan on doing Aurora, and I have already prepared for her video, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it's going to be an interesting one, so definitely keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I hope you guys were able to enjoy today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night, over my beat, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.